Reality perception filters. Imagine living in a world where what you see, hear, and feel is not fixed. A reality where your perception is no longer bound to biology, but instead is programmable, customizable, and optional. Welcome to the concept of reality perception filters, a futuristic technology that could redefine what it means to experience life. At its core, a perception filter is a system that intercepts sensory input before it reaches conscious awareness, altering or enhancing it in real time. It doesn't change the world itself, but it changes how you perceive the world. The implications are staggering. Think of it as putting a filter on your entire reality, much like adding a filter to a photo or video, except this is not just an image, but your entire existence. The idea comes from the intersection of neuroscience, brain-computer interfaces, augmented reality, and artificial intelligence. Our senses, sight, hearing, touch, taste, smell, are all essentially data streams. Light waves hitting our retina, sound vibrations picked up by our ears, chemical signals interpreted by our nose and tongue, and pressure signals registered by our skin. The brain interprets these streams and assembles what we call reality. Reality perception filters would act as editors for those streams, modifying them on the fly. Consider vision first. Imagine walking down a crowded city street, but instead of gray pavement and neon lights, you see a glowing, luminous landscape painted in artistic overlays. Reality itself looks like an anime world, a watercolor painting, or a high-definition digital realm. These are not overlays like today's augmented reality glasses. They are direct edits to your perception. The buildings, the cars, the faces of people, all filtered into whatever visual style you prefer. Want your life to look like a 1980s sci-fi movie? Done. Want to live in a fantasy RPG with castles rising where office towers stand? Also possible. But vision is only the beginning. Reality perception filters could transform sound as well. Imagine tuning out the noise of traffic and replacing it with symphonic harmonies. Every footstep becomes a musical note, every door opening a chime. Or imagine altering voices so everyone sounds more pleasant, more confident, or even more like characters from your favorite series. The chaotic soundscape of life becomes curated, calm, and tailored to your emotional state. Touch could also be modified. A handshake could feel like a burst of warmth and connection. A hug could be magnified into a sensation of floating. Textures could be altered so that every surface feels soothing. Pain could be filtered away or reduced to manageable levels. The implications for medicine are enormous. Patients experiencing chronic pain could simply turn down their perception of discomfort, while amputees could experience restored sensations through filtered inputs. Smell and taste, often neglected in discussions of future tech, would gain extraordinary potential. Imagine being able to eat plain rice while perceiving the complex flavors of a gourmet meal. Imagine turning the foul stench of pollution into a neutral or even pleasant aroma. Taste and smell filters could revolutionize food, health, and even survival, making unpalatable but nutritious substances seem delicious. Beyond the senses, reality perception filters could allow humans to live in personally curated versions of the same shared environment. Two people could stand in the same room, yet one perceives a Zen garden with soft music, while the other perceives a futuristic cyberpunk lounge buzzing with neon energy. The room itself doesn't change, but their realities diverge. This leads to one of the most intriguing philosophical implications. If perception is customizable, what becomes of objective reality? Today, we assume that what we see and hear is roughly the same as what others experience. But with filters, reality becomes fragmented, personalized. Society could fracture into individuals or subgroups who literally live in different worlds, even as they share physical space. Of course, there are dangers. If perception can be filtered, it can also be manipulated. Governments could enforce perception settings, masking harsh realities such as pollution, poverty, or violence. A war zone could look like a peaceful garden. Citizens might live blissfully unaware of crises, simply because the filter hides them. The ethics of perception control would become one of the most critical debates in human history. But on the positive side, the potential benefits are extraordinary. For mental health, filters could remove triggers, dampen anxiety, or replace depression with soothing sensory input. For education, filters could turn every environment into an immersive classroom. Imagine learning history by walking through your city, but perceiving it as it looked centuries ago. Science lessons could be visualized in real time, with molecules, galaxies, and ecosystems layered into your perception. Entertainment would never be the same. Instead of watching a movie, you could live it. Instead of reading a novel, you could perceive the world as the protagonist sees it. Video games would merge with reality completely, creating experiences indistinguishable from life. Sports, too, could be transformed. An ordinary soccer match could be perceived as a gladiatorial contest in a Roman arena, complete with roaring crowds and dramatic effects. Relationships could also shift dramatically. Want your partner to look and sound different? Filters could transform their appearance, even their personality cues, into whatever you desire. This is both exciting and unsettling. Would relationships become stronger because people can adjust perception to eliminate irritations, or would they become weaker, reduced to filtered illusions? Would we still value authenticity, or would everyone live inside personalized fantasies? Technologically, the building blocks for reality perception filters are slowly coming into view. Advances in brain-computer interfaces allow direct stimulation of the visual cortex. AI systems can interpret and modify data in real time. Wearables like AR glasses and neural implants are moving closer to mass adoption. Nanotechnology and neuroprosthetics are advancing to the point where altering brain signals is becoming precise and non-invasive. The path is long, but it is not impossible. Imagine an evolution. First, perception filters begin as apps for AR glasses, then move into brain implants for those who opt in, and eventually become neural software integrated into daily life. At first, they'll be marketed for health, pain management, anxiety reduction, and enhanced focus. Then, entertainment and lifestyle filters will explode. Soon, people may feel incomplete without them, as the unfiltered world seems dull, harsh, and unforgiving. But the deeper question remains: if we can edit reality, do we lose touch with it? What happens to truth in a world where everyone filters it differently? What happens to empathy if we can simply hide unpleasantness? What happens to morality when crimes can be hidden behind perception edits? Some argue that this technology would mark the end of objective society, where shared truth collapses. Others argue it would represent ultimate freedom, the right to live in a reality of your own choosing. Perhaps the answer lies in balance. Filters that enhance but do not deceive, empower but do not manipulate. There could also be entirely new experiences beyond human senses. Why limit filters to enhancing sight or hearing? Filters could add senses we don't currently possess, perceiving electromagnetic fields, ultraviolet light, quantum states, or even emotional patterns of others. Reality perception. Filters might not just alter reality, but expand it, unlocking dimensions of existence previously invisible to human beings. The economic and political impact would be profound. Companies could compete by offering the most appealing or addictive filters. A new digital divide could emerge between those who afford premium realities and those stuck with basic, unfiltered perception. Governments might legislate baseline perception rights, ensuring citizens have access to unfiltered truth at least part of the time. Underground groups might develop raw reality movements, refusing to use filters at all. Wars of perception could emerge, where controlling what people perceive becomes more powerful than controlling land or resources. Even art and culture would transform. Artists could create filters as masterpieces. Walking through life in a painter's unique perception could be the new form of gallery. Music could be paired with perception shifts, creating entire worlds of synesthetic experiences. Literature could become interactive, with novels that literally reprogram your senses as you read them. The definition of creativity would expand into the architecture of perception itself. There's also the question of identity. If you live with filters that alter how you perceive yourself in mirrors or how others perceive you, does your identity change? Could someone spend years perceiving themselves as taller, stronger, or even a different gender? Would children raised with filters ever develop an authentic baseline sense of self? Identity could become as fluid as digital avatars today, but with deeper psychological impact. The social dynamics would be fascinating. Dating apps could offer filters that make every match look like your ideal type. Job interviews could allow applicants to project competence by filtering their body language. Political rallies could be curated to appear more inspiring. Even public spaces could enforce communal filters, deciding together how they want to perceive their shared environment. At the extreme, reality perception filters could blur the line between virtual and real, eventually leading to a post-reality society. Why struggle with the imperfections of the real world when you can simply overwrite them? For some, this could be liberation. For others, it could feel like surrender. In the end, reality perception filters embody one of the deepest questions of humanity. Do we want to see the world as it is, or as we want it to be? The answer will define whether this technology becomes a tool for empowerment, creativity, and healing, or one for control, deception, and isolation. What is clear is that this technology, once realized, will not be optional. Like smartphones, social media, or the internet, it will seep into daily life until opting out seems unthinkable. And when that happens, the very definition of reality will change forever. So, as we stand on the edge of this possibility, the challenge is not whether we can build reality perception filters. The challenge is whether we will use them wisely, whether we will preserve a shared world while exploring infinite personal ones, and whether, in changing how we perceive reality, we also change what it means to be human. The future is not just about new technologies, it is about new realities. And with reality perception filters, we may discover that the greatest frontier of all is not outer space, but the mind itself. Hey, if you're enjoying this video and want to see more like it, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update.